So do I need a CPA? Do I need a bookkeeper? Do I need both? Aren't they all just the same, nerdy little number crunchers? Well, we're going to find out today. Welcome to the Accounting for You podcast, brought to you by the accounting firm of Adkins and Reynolds CPAs. This podcast is designed to provide relevant tax and accounting information to help you and your business succeed. If you enjoy listening in, please like and subscribe to our channel. Now, on to the show. Well, welcome back to the Accounting for You podcast. I am Chris Reynolds, CPA and partner with Adkins and Reynolds CPAs.
And I am Jay Adkins, CPA and partner at Adkins and Reynolds CPAs.
So as we were talking there in the little intro, what do you really need? Do you need a CPA firm? Do you need a bookkeeping firm? Do you need both? Is there any other options? What am I really looking at as a business owner of getting my books up to date and getting my tax planning and tax situations figured out? So that's kind of what we're going to unroll today. So Jay, what do you think? What do we need? Do we need a CPA firm? Do you need a bookkeeping firm? What's your knee-jerk reaction to most businesses?
Well, first off, I find that a lot of people that I talk to see a CPA and a bookkeeper as one and the same. And there's definitely some differences that we're going to go over. And I think we'll show you that a CPA can provide a lot more things that maybe a bookkeeper can't.
Right. So we're going to talk about maybe the different options as to what a CPA does, what a bookkeeper does, and why they're different. So let's just kind of start right off the top with bookkeeping firms. And these are firms that are solely for bookkeeping. That's all they're doing is what we're talking about here. So a bookkeeping firm serves a business owner mainly by maintaining the bookkeeping records of the businesses as they need them. So we're talking about they may pay their bills, they may maybe just pay their bills and that's it. Or maybe they're recording their revenues or their income into the books. I've even seen or heard of some of them actually making deposits for their clients. They're going to be working on their payroll for their clients, reconciling their bank accounts. There's a lot of things that can fall under that bookkeeping, level of services. When you think
a lot of day-to-day operations, bookkeeping is what they're doing. With not necessarily anything more involved in it than just processing transactions.
Right. So it's just data processing, which there's nothing wrong with that because it has to be processed one way or another. I think probably the biggest difference that I see between bookkeeping firm and CPA firm is that there are really no licensing requirements for a bookkeeper. So, you don't have to have a license on your wall or anything to show that you are an official bookkeeper. There's no license. There's no schooling requirements. So that means that anybody can be a bookkeeper if they say that they're a bookkeeper. And there's no continuing education requirement. Since there's no licensing, they don't have to keep up with any new education or anything like that. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying they're not required to. So that's a big differentiation there between the CPA and the bookkeeper, that you may be dealing with a bookkeeper that maybe they know what they're doing, but there's no licensing, no education, no continuing education requirements that can be a detriment, I would think, to some people.
Yes, as far as being a CPA, having a CPA firm, we have specific things. We have to have education. The current requirement now is 150 hours of college to be able to take the exam. And then, of course, there's the CPA exam that has to be passed in order to be licensed. We have to renew our license every year. We have to do continuing education, as Chris mentioned. That is a rolling 120 hours over any 3-year period. So there's a lot of things that a CPA has to do that maybe a bookkeeper does not have to do. That helps us keep up with ever-changing tax law and other things that we need to know.
Yeah, and he's talking about continuing education. That's definitely for West Virginia, and I'm sure other states may have different rules, and you would have to check with your own, state board of accountancy if you're wondering what CPAs in your state may need to have. But that's kind of the general rule, I think, for a lot of states, at least in our area too. It's a very similar rule there. And the CPA firm, we're doing some of the same stuff, but we're taking that data process that's been processed and we're turning it into tax returns. We're turning it into tax plans. We're helping set accounting procedures, maybe for larger accounting departments. We're doing what's called attestation services, and those are like preparation services, compilations, reviews, audits of financial statements, and we've got other things that we that may deal into business advisory, helping you with your business succeed. So it's not just data processing, and I think those are two big things that maybe people don't realize from the outside world, that, yeah, we may process some data, but overall the CPA firm takes the data and does something with it above and beyond that.
And one thing Chris mentioned was the preparation of compilations, reviews, audits, different financial statements that we do. A lot of times businesses will be required to have some form of a financial statement at one of those levels. If they're trying to get a loan with the bank or they have a line of credit that needs renewed, they want to see something that has an official report on that financial statement from an accounting firm.
Right. So that's something to keep in mind that you can't get from a bookkeeper. That they're going to need those financial statements on CPA firm letterhead. I've heard people say, I need a report on CPA firm letterhead. Can you do that for us? So obviously that's something that we can do with our attestation services. So there's kind of your big differences between your CPA firm and your bookkeeping firm. So I would say your third option is more of a hybrid type approach, and that's what we've adopted here at our firm. We do our CPA work, but we also do bookkeeping work, and then that's where I feel like our strong suit is. And I'm sure there's other firms out there in the world that do. We're not probably just alone in our theory on this, but we're kind of incorporating all these services under one roof, and we're offering the bookkeeping services, the day-to-day record keeping and bookkeeping entries, but we're overseeing them as a CPA. And that way we can see the bigger picture maybe as to where that data needs to go and how to get it analyzed for you.
Yeah, one thing that we see from time to time working with different clients, some clients have excellent books and do a wonderful job with it. It makes our job a lot easier as far as tax planning, tax preparation. Some struggle a little. And if we receive books that are not in the best shape, then there's a lot to do at the year end where until that's done, we can't do adequate tax planning. And there's a lot that we have to put into it before we can do a correct tax return. So again, that's something that we can work with clients as far as helping them with their bookkeeping during the year. And then we can get to the year end and we have clean books. It's much easier to plan, take advantage of tax deductions that we may have at year end in our tax planning. And then also it makes it much easier and less expensive to prepare the tax return.
Yeah, so we're talking almost like a turnkey back office support solution here, where we're talking about helping you with your bookkeeping, or maybe doing your payroll for you, helping you with your payroll. That allows us to have current information to make sure your financial statements are up to date. We've got making sure that your tax plans can stay up to date that way. And then at the end of the year, we're ready to go on your tax return. So it's really a turnkey situation there for a business owner that maybe would benefit them more so than just choosing a bookkeeper or just a CPA firm. It allows that hybrid approach where we can help you the most.
Right, and we certainly have a number of clients that we help with their bookkeeping throughout the year. And as we mentioned before about financial statements for banks when required, if a line of credit or a loan is needed and you need the financial statements, it's much more difficult when we hear from someone that says, the bank needs this within the next couple weeks, and oh, by the way, my bookkeeping for the entire year is not the best, and we have to come in and try to get things cleaned up in a timely manner as quick as we can so that the client can get that loan, can renew that line of credit, so that they can continue on with their day-to-day business operations and have the funds they need.
Right, and it all comes back to it's easier to prepare than repair. It's going to be cheaper for you, and it's going to be easier for you to make sure you're getting the results that you want to.
Yeah, I've heard more than once from different people that they'll say, well, I don't know if I can really afford a CPA. What they don't realize is when they try to do it and it doesn't work out for them, they end up paying it anyway. And they pay it at the end instead of throughout the year when it would maybe be easier for them to handle.
Right. So, all right. So there you go. There's your differences between a bookkeeping firm, a CPA firm, and maybe a hybrid approach to it. But like the intro said, I think a lot of people just see us as nerdy number crunchers because that's what they think we do. We do not wear a green visor. And we do allow more than 1 or 2 lumps of coal on the fire, unlike Ebenezer Scrooge may. I think that's where a lot of people see where accountants are. But anyways, all right. Well, that's all we've got for you today on the Accounting for You podcast, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for taking time today to listen to our podcast. We appreciate listeners like you and ask that if you enjoy what you hear, please like and subscribe to our channel to ensure you receive the latest episodes as soon as they come out. If you have any questions about the topic we discussed today or would like more information on becoming a client, please do not hesitate to contact our office by visiting arcpas.com or theaccountingpodcast.com.